So the next experiment that we are going to do is called MapReduce. By the name, it suggests that it is mapping something to something. Of course, mapping is A to B, and then it is reducing the B to some values, maybe. Let's see. According to the definition I found online, is a data map reduce is a data processing paradigm for condensing large volumes of data into useful aggregated results. Right? For map reduce operations, MongoDB provides MapReduce database command. Right? The functions in the MapReduce are the thing will be on your screen, db.orders.mapreduce. There is a map function first as an argument, there is a reduce function the next, and then there is a query, and then there is an output. Right? You can put out inline equal to 1 and then it will be on your console, the output, otherwise it will be sent to another collection. Okay, so let's see. So in very simple terms, MapReduce will take two primary inputs. So it's a mapper function and a reducer function, correct? A mapper will start off by reading a collection of data, right? So whatever data collection, and building a map with only the required fields we wish to process, okay, and group them into one array based on the key that you give.
So we have a MongoDB database, let's say, which has documents such as which contains three fields: custody, amount, and status. First, we want only the documents with status as A. So we select them using a query. Now we have selected them. Now we want our key to be custody. So our key custody should be mapped with the value of amount, right? So we group them, and then you know so our mapping function will map A123 with the values of amount that is associated to the ID A123, right? So for A123 I get 500 and 250. So 500 is from the first document, 250 is from the second document, and for B212 I get 200, right? So now what our reducer function does, so a reducer function is, let's say a reducer function is adding all the values in the array of amount and just giving us the value. So the total for this customer, right? So ID A213, then after reducing, gets the value of 750, while B212 gets the value of 200. This is the entire concept of MapReduce. So you get some values. This can be used for a shopkeeper sort of a thing. So a customer, how much does this thing total to, and then getting out the final value, etc. So you get the point.
What is map? So map is a JavaScript function. Map and reduce both are JavaScript functions. It is used to map a value with a key, right? To produce a key value pair. Mapping is easier. Okay. Reducing is a JavaScript function used to reduce or group together all documents which have the same key. Okay. What is out? Out is the specific location or the collection that you want to store the output of the MapReduce in. There's a query, so if you want something specially selected, optional selection criteria for the documents, etc. Sort is to if you want it sorted on the output, so you can put a sort criteria. And limit if you want to put maximum number of documents that can be which are desired to be returned, and etc. You can put limit. So let's have a MapReduce on example, right? So let's create a MapReduce. So use as4, right? And then dot stud dot insert. Can I have stud? What? Name Amit marks 80, right? So stud is a collection, And then Amit also got max 90. Then we have Shreya that got marks equal to 40. Then we have Neha who got 80. And then we have Neha again who got 35. Right? Yes. So this is what we have inserted. If we were to go db.stud.find, so we'll have this. These are the objects, like the names, the marks. So now we can create MapReduce function. So we can create a small MapReduce function by just writing MapReduce. It's a function given in MongoDB, so you don't have to worry about that. So dot 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 means continued. So you can write function, right? And then we can write the function definition over here. Then you emit. This is your in the thing. So what is your key? So I'll write this dot name is my key, and one, and yes, this is my thing. This is my function. So this name and value is 1, right? Name is the key and value is 1. And then the reduce function is function which goes here, right? Function, it takes key and values, right? Yes. It return array dot sum values, something like that. Yes. And we also want out. Let's say we want out, and then the out is like name total. And yeah, so okay.
So let's see and try to visualize how these things, how the map function and reduce function work together to form this MapReduce operation. We know that there are two sort of sets, right? So there is a name set, which is this dot name, and there is a set of ones, which we are going to give as value to your keys. Your keys are your names, right? So the keys must be unique, of course, right? Otherwise, what's the sense of a key? So therefore, there is only one Amit, there is one Shreya, and then there is one Neha. But in the database, there are two Amits, right? So therefore, two ones, right? One as in two of ones will map to one Amit. Similarly, one will be mapped to Shreya, right? And two ones will be mapped to Neha because there are two records of Neha, two records of Amit, but one record of Shreya, right? So this is the thing that will happen. Now after the map function, we will get these values. So our keys, Amit, will have 1 1 as an array associated with Amit. Similarly, Shreya will have only one element in the array of values, and Neha will also have 1 and 1, that is two ones, as the elements of your array.
If there was a map func1, right? So there is this name. So this is for counting how many names are there, right? So Amit has two name, Neha has two name, and this is one name. We have seen that. Now, if it was map fun2, I have needed two marks. Now what happens over here?
So what will happen is there is M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. These are not numerical values which were in the document, but there are 5 marks. 2 marks are associated to Amit, 1 mark is associated to Shreya, and 2 marks are associated to Neha. Now these marks will get associated and the array will be formed with Amit. I think so it was 80 and 90. So Amit with a value array of 80, 90, Shreya with 40, and Neha with 80 and 40 or something like that. So there are these arrays created, and then
So it's this dot marks. And where is map.func2 used? It's used over here. It's in name total 1. So if we go and we just do name total 1 dot finds, we have Amit and then value is 170, which is addition of 80 and 90. Similarly, there we have Neha and we have Shrey, right?
So this is our MapReduce function and the basic idea of how a MapReduce function might work.
Say this was the thing, right? Let's go to the previous. So use as3. If we go to as3 and db.as3 dot find, and then we have this, right? Right. Now let's create a MapReduce function on this subject. So let's create var map func and then just create var map func is equal to function, right? Var map func is equal to function, right? And then emit this dot subject to subject and this dot mark. Let's say we want sum of marks. So this dot, we have done this to aggregation. Now I'll show you how to do this through basically different way of doing it. This, so there is var map func. Wait, what? Sorry. Yes. This is var map func. And var red func is just function will get keys and values, and key dot key and values. Now for where I equal to 0, I less than values dot length I plus plus where marks plus equal to this dot marks, like something like this, I guess. I do not know. And return marks something. JavaScript run exception हो गया भैया, exception हो गया. Red func for where I use where marks where marks equal to 0 for I plus plus where marks में marks this नहीं, these dot marks नहीं, well this I map db.s3.MapReduce mapfunc redfunc and just out it on something total, right? Total. Yes, output is 5. 1 is reduced, so this cn is reduced, so this is what db dot total dot find, and there you have cn is 170. That is your thing for marks. You could just have done except of this, you could have just done like let's say redfunc. And instead of doing this much work, you could have just return array dot some values and should be fine. Agar now it's redfunc is this total one. It's the same thing that you got. Aggregation with MapReduce. MapReduce is generally done on really big data sets, is for which aggregation is not really an viable option. So that is why MapReduce is done. You can modify the code and etc. as much as you like, hence on forth. And this is me ending MapReduce.